this year is the first year in quite a little while that every county in Arkansas has 2 Republican election commissioners. And we're proud to have Gene Haley and Dennis Bosch as our representatives on the election commission. Let's give them a round of applause.
Hey, we're going to have a big time over here on July 17th. If you haven't heard, we're bringing in Donald Trump for our Reagan Rockefeller dinner. And if you can't get tickets by going online, call the state party and ask for Sarah Joe. All of you call at the same time, okay? Tickets are $150. They will be a sellout. It's going to be awesome over at the convention center. It's my privilege to serve you as your state chairman, but more importantly, it's my privilege to know people like Tim Griffin, our lieutenant governor. I told him I had to dig deep to come up with good things to say about him. I've known him a number of years. Let me say, there is no finer person that I know than Tim Griffin. Tim Griffin doesn't let things linger. When he knows something should be done, he uses his wisdom, his education, his experience, and he gets out there and he gets it done. There's always a sign. Give him a round of applause. He's been that way all of his life. He was that way as our congressman in the 2nd District. He's that way as our lieutenant governor. He doesn't have to do the things that he's doing. He enjoys it. He loves Arkansas. He's going to have to leave us early tonight. His wife had a little surgery today, so when he's speaking, he's going to be excused. But he is a great gentleman, a great father, a great husband, a great Christian, and a great public servant. Give Tim Griffin a round of applause.
Thank you all. Thank you so much. I'm going to stand out here like a preacher's son because I am one. Thank you all. Thank you so much. I was talking to somebody a minute ago and Dole said, yeah, this gentleman here is a preacher. And I said, well, my dad's a preacher, my granddad was a preacher, my great-granddad was a preacher, my great-uncle was a preacher. And I said, I know what you're thinking. What happened to you? I said, well, the Lord wanted to keep me out of politics, so He kept me out of the Baptist church. Put me in Congress. No, man, this tea's so good I can't put it down. So I'm not going to, except for a second. I made some notes. I never use them. They just make me feel good. So I'm going to make some stuff up for a second. Now, when I get through, I am going to go back. My wife had a little. Yeah. If it's not, I'll move it. Appreciate it. Anyway, she had a little procedure, and she's a little groggy, so I'm going to head back after I speak. So if you'll excuse me, and I got to catch a 6 a.m. flight to D.C. in the morning with my 5-year-old son. So that'll be interesting. So I got a little packing to do. Anyway, so let's think a little bit about where we are as a party. A lot of people here in this room labored a long time, just waiting for the opportunity to lead the state and have an impact. Now I know there's probably a couple of people in the room who never did think much of Republicans until last November. They said, yeah, I think I'm one too. We welcome those folks too. Welcome them all, absolutely. It's part of having a ruling majority. You know, the nature of a ruling majority is you got more people, right? Well, there's some things that come along with that, right? And what comes along with that? Well, when you got more people, you got more opinions. You got more viewpoints. So you got more perspectives, which means you usually have more diversity of thought within the same party. And sometimes that's a little hard for us to deal with, because we were used to when the party had 3 people and everybody believed the same way. And then now we've got all these people in it, some of which you never seen before, and you're like, hey, welcome to the party. And there are a lot of different views. You know what? That requires us to get used to it, because it's different being in the majority than it is being in the minority politically. It's a lot different. And so you are going to notice that the rooms are bigger and there's more people at events. But you're also going to notice that you may not agree with everybody within the party. There will be a range of views. Now, if they get too liberal, we call that a Democrat. And if there's some of those, you can tell them about that other party, and they can avail themselves of that option. But within this party, there's going to be a range of views. And I think that, some people call that great opportunity, and I do, I guess. A lot of people call it growing pains when they have to deal with other opinions, but we're going to have that. And so the idea that everybody in our party is going to feel the same way is sort of going to be a thing of the past. But what else does that mean? That means we're going to have competition. We used to have to beg people, as you know, to get one person to run because we couldn't find anybody else to run for that. Well, now that's what the Democrats are doing. And so what we're going to have now is very vigorous primaries in many cases, within our own party, of course, and that's going to take some getting used to, because we've never really had, now some parts of the state, to be fair, have had to deal with that before, but there are a lot of parts of the state that haven't. So that's sort of a new thing that we have to deal with. And I'm sure if you've ever been Dole's ear, he's happy to, he's been around a long time. He can tell you what it used to be. When the three of you were here. That was before I was born. But he took a couple shots at me, so I got to shoot out. And by the way, I was here when you were announcing all those people. You just didn't know it. I was sitting back behind that pole where those people are now. I'm up here. Don't worry, I'm going to move around. You're going to think I'm hyper, and I'm just being polite. Because you couldn't see me otherwise. Yep. Got a camera back there? Anyway, so I was sitting back there then, but I knew you were saving me from it. Don't worry about it. In any event, so we've got a whole different ballgame going on now. And the Democrats are now getting used to having their state convention at a Waffle House. Yeah. The convenient thing is you don't even have to order food in advance. You just go in, say scattered, smothered, covered. In any event, so they'll be doing that. But when you win, it's a good thing. It's an exciting thing, and we all saw that in November. And we've had some good years, but this past one was sort of the one that put us over in a lot of different ways to become the majority party. But when you're the majority party, you're the governing party, and you've got a different role than just pointing out where the other side's wrong. You got to govern. You got to actually make things happen. At least you do if you want to be successful, if you want to continue to govern, if you want to demonstrate that you have the ability to do that. You've got to take that seriously and have a different perspective. And so, my view is this. And there's plenty of blame to go around, but we are in a situation now in Arkansas, and I'm going to talk about the economy for a little bit. And some of you have heard this before, and I'm not going to go into all the detail because I don't have time. But in terms of economic development and where we are from a competitive perspective, the status quo is not good for us, folks. And let me show you what I'm talking about. So, a lot of times when people ask themselves, hey, are we making progress as a state? They think about progress, and I'm moving so they can see. They think about progress in what I call an absolute scale. Meaning, well, there wasn't a shopping center there in that place, and there is now, right? That's progress. There wasn't a housing development there or businesses there before, and there is now, okay? That's what I call absolute progress. Wasn't there before, it does in fact exist now. Relative progress doesn't just ask whether there's something going on. It asks, are we moving up relative to other states? Here's my perspective on this, because I've been looking at some numbers, okay? And where we are as a state. We have in fact made progress over the years, no question. We've got things that are built that we didn't have before. We got jobs that are here that we didn't have before. But for me, that is not sufficient. Because when you look at the relative numbers, meaning, okay, we've made progress on an absolute scale, but relative to other states, are we moving up? Have we moved from the 40s to the top 10, for example? No. No, we have not. Why is that? Because when you're making progress, unless you're making it really, 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 really fast, you're not catching up. Because they're making progress too. Who's the they? Well, Texas, South Carolina, Oregon, North Dakota, name it. Just name a state. We're competing with them. We're certainly competing around the world. But for the purpose of this comparison, think about other states. It's like somebody going around a NASCAR track doing what is normally the winning speed. And they're going, hey man, I'm doing average of 158 miles an hour around this track. This is normally a winning speed. I am doing great. I ran last week, I'm doing great this week. And I'd say, yes you are, on an absolute scale. But the leader is doing the same exact speed, but he's a mile ahead of you. Relative to him, you're not doing great and you're not making any progress. And so this is how we've got to look at where we are. Okay, here's a few things that I want to mention. So there was a study out in the summer of 2014 that showed that Arkansas was 47 out of, we have 50 states in job growth. Associated Press did it, not some fly-by-night. The Associated Press looked at job growth between the summer of 2009 and the summer of 2014 over a 5-year period, and they compared all 50 states, and we were 47. Mississippi was 46. Okay? That was job growth. Okay? Now, the other day, there was a study that came out, and I think I may be off one or two of these are, but I'm pretty sure these are right. So there was a study the other day, return on investment study. It looked at how much we pay in taxes in Arkansas versus what we get in return in infrastructure, education, and you name it. We were 50 out of 50. We were 50 out of 50. Okay? Now, I was in Jonesboro giving something like this speech the other day, and somebody handed me it's either Executive Magazine or CEO Magazine. They had listed states where it's good to do business, where it's not. I think in that one, we were just below 40. We were 38, right around there, doing business, okay? Now, there was a study the other day that looked at how many state employees each state has per 100,000 citizens. Okay, per capita, right? Why is that important? Well, it shows what percentage of your taxes are you using to hire employees. And the goal should be to have a number that you need. No more, no less, the number that you need, right? Well, we were number 12 in the country, and that's not good. That's not a top 10 you want to be near, right? You want to be at the bottom of that. We had the 12th highest ratio or number of state employees per capita in the country. Why is that important? If we are ever going to try to reform taxes in a major way, before you can ever start that process, you have to first see how much government actually should cost. You cannot reform the tax code with the assumption that what you're spending on government needs to be continued. You can't do it because the numbers don't add up, as you see in the session when they're going, well, we got to make this work. And you go, and here's the way that debate goes. DF&A, Department of Finance Administration, DF&A. We ought to reform the tax code, DF&A says. And I'm not talking about this, I'm just talking about sort of historically, that agency, they're the budget agency, right? They say, we can't do that. And the legislators here are smiling at this, particularly as I go down this road. And you go, well, why can't we reform the tax code? Well, because we can't afford it. And, well, okay, why can't we afford it? Well, because we need a certain amount of money to fund the government. I agree that we need a certain amount of money to fund the government. How much do we need, the F&A? Well, we need what we needed last year, plus a little more. Okay, so the only number you have to give me for how much government should cost, or does cost, is what we spent last year. As long as you're operating on that, you will never get to tax reform. Because they're always going to be able to say, can't afford it. What you need to do is do a top-to-bottom review of every state agency, whether you're doing Lean Sigma, like businesses do, whether you got to look under couch cushions. You have got, let me show you how you got to reorganize the government. Blank sheet of paper. They used to tell me on Ways and Means, if you try to reform a tax code by looking at the one you already got, you'll edit it and end up with pretty much the one you already got. The only way to reform a tax code is a blank sheet of paper. You make everything earn its way onto that. Why should you care how we already do things when the agencies we have were designed to operate in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s? Same applies to the federal government. So the point, that's why this number is important. When we've got the 12th highest number of state employees per capita, that tells you, that number alone tells you, we're spending a heck of a lot more on state government than other states. And it's probably the canary in the coal mine going, hey, look over here. Now, you don't really need a canary in the coal mine when you've got a really loud bird called the $200 million that DHS lit on fire, right? They just, we don't have any money to do this or that, but we do have $200 million to just put in a burning barrel at my grandma's house. It's incredible. And that's because you probably missed the story on the $4 million the year before. I thought the $4 million was a big deal until I saw the $200 million. It's incredible. If you hadn't been following the story, you haven't seen the end of it. So that's a number to really spend some time on. Then a number came out 2 days ago, maybe yesterday, I think it was 2 days ago. Bloomberg had a study of the top of the top 10 cities that recovered from the recession a few years ago. In the bottom 10, so they had a big list, the top 10 and the bottom 10. And I just glanced at the top 10, bottom 10. What I noticed in the top 10 is 5 of them were Texas. 5 of the top 10 were Texas that had recovered so quickly. And I'm not saying everybody wants to be like Texas, but I'd love to have some of their economic growth. Woo! I mean, I'd love it. And it's, there's some reasons for that. The bottom 10, 3 of the bottom 10 were Arkansas cities. Pine Bluff, Texarkana, and Hot Springs. Pine Bluff, Texarkana, and Hot Springs. It's in yesterday's Bloomberg. You can find it online. I don't have it with me. So, why do I say all this? If you've always done what if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always get. If you are comfortable debating about whether we're going to get from the 40s to the high 30s, then you don't need to listen to me. Because you won't agree with me. My view is incrementalism will keep giving us what we've been getting from it. A little tweak here, a little tweak there, a little mall here, a little development there, and everybody else is still 46 slots or 45 slots or 42 slots ahead of us. We have been given an opportunity of a lifetime. And in the long run, folks, we're all dead. And when I get older, and I'm done with, Lord willing, and I'm done with this gig, or whatever gig I'm doing, my kids at some point are going to have to make a choice if they stay in Arkansas or not. I want them to stay here, period. But I want them to be able to say to Daddy, yeah, I got the exact job I wanted. What I don't want to hear from them is, well, I certainly don't want to hear, I could have gotten the job I wanted, I just don't want to live near you. I don't want to hear that. But I really don't want to hear, I'd love to stay here, but I got to go to Austin. I got to go to Nashville. I got to go to Dallas. I got to go to Atlanta. That's what I don't want to hear. And if we're going to move from the 40s to the top 10, I think we ought to shoot for the number 1. Because a lot of this is pure political will, folks. It's not a secret. All you got to do is look at what the top 10 states are doing and do it. It's not hard. Pro-growth policies. It's not hard. I don't need to get into all the details. The point is, we have got to dream big and act boldly. But let me tell you, and there's a lot of good things that the legislature, folks, some of the folks are here, they've been working on it, the governor, we've been able to do, but let me tell you, we cannot let up. And we're getting our sea legs, we're sort of assessing where everything is and what to do, and you're watching some of that. But the legislature only meets once a year and every other year on general matters. We have limited opportunities. We've got to use these precious moments when we're not in session to prepare and debate and discuss. Because here's the thing. As Thatcher said, first we got to win the argument. Then we got to win the vote. First win the argument. And if only a couple of people are talking about some of this stuff, it ain't ever going to happen. Politicians, including myself, are by definition risk averse. What does that mean? That means boldness is scary to a lot of them. And they look over their shoulder. Politicians do, and they go, is anybody back there? You got to be back there. You've got to be demanding boldness. If you do not demand it, you will not get it. The one thing I've learned about politicians is they are very responsive to constituents in big numbers. Don't kid yourself. People that say, oh, they're all the same, they don't listen. Nonsense. You go to a congressman's office who's getting 600 calls a day on a particular issue, you can bet he's listening. The reason they do a lot of the stuff that you don't like is because more people wanted it than didn't want it. Your side didn't win. Okay? So what I tell you is, seek boldness, pressure me, pressure these elected officials, stay on us. Don't be satisfied with a little bit of tweak here and a little bit of tweak there. Because that's not going to get us where we need to go. We're not going to have opportunities forever. We may not have the 100 and some odd years that the Democrats had to do a lot of this stuff that got us here. There's plenty of blame to go around. We've got to treat this opportunity as if it is fleeting. Because our lives are fleeting. We have an obligation to move quickly, soundly, but quickly. So, I'm going to put my number up here, and I'm going to tell you this. Hold me accountable, hold everybody accountable, demand excellence. And I was going to talk about how we're going to win in 2016, but I'll just cut to the chase there. We're going to win in 2016. Ain't no way Hillary Clinton's going to be president of the United States. Thank y'all for letting me come. I appreciate you. Stay fired up and hold elected officials accountable and demand excellence. Thank y'all.
hear for him.